This is a lecture from Open Tuition. For the free slides that go with this podcast, please visit opentuition.com.
We have two further style theories to look at. First, the Ashbridge Management College model. This identified 4 types of leadership style, but remember these are only points in a continuum of management styles. First, and the most autocratic or dictatorial, is tells. The manager simply tells staff what to do. They don't even feel a need to have to explain why that's what has to be done. A slightly more liberal approach is sells. Here the manager tells people what to do, but then sells that idea to them, convinces or persuades them or explains why it has to be done that way. Next, there is the consults style. Here the manager will ask staff what they think ought to be done, but then the manager will make the final decision, but it is quite a participative style. And finally, there is joins, or joins with. This can be entirely democratic, where the manager actually abandons management and asks people to vote on what should be done. This might be the sort of style adopted for deciding things like where should the summer outing be, but many people regard this extreme democratic style of leadership as abandoning one of the important functions of management, which is to direct and control. The final style theory is Blake and Mouton's managerial grid. These researchers measured 2 elements of management or leadership. First, the leader's concern for people, and second, their concern for the task that had to be accomplished. The grid was initially devised as a way of analyzing a manager's approach through a series of questionnaires, and their position would then be plotted on the grid. This would give them some indication of where improvement was needed. First of all, we go to the top left of the grid, someone who has a very high concern for people, but a relatively low concern for accomplishing the task. This manager adopted a country club style. In a way, they weren't really very interested in accomplishing tasks at all, as long as people had a nice time. Hence the name country club. Everything was fine as long as people were happy. The other extreme is at the bottom right of the grid, the authoritarian or task-orientated style. Here the leader puts all their energies into getting the task done, but couldn't care less about the people. This manager wouldn't be very nice to work for. They would put you under a lot of pressure. They certainly wouldn't be interested in dealing with any personal issues that you might have, which stood in the way of getting the task done. The best style is presumably at the top right, someone who has great concern for people and also great concern for the task. This is regarded as a team leadership style, someone who will be a very good leader. At one and the same time, getting tasks accomplished as required, but also making their staff feel wanted and needed, and having time for them. Most ordinary managers are probably going to be near the middle, the 5-5 position, the middle of the road style. Reasonably good with people, reasonably good with the task, but of course what we want to do is to try and shift people up towards a 9-9 position. There'll be some managers at the 1-1 position, the impoverished style, not much good at anything. One really has to ask, why are they managers? Is there any way their performance can be improved at all? We now come to a group of theories known as contingency theories. These are the most modern theories and are miles away from the original classical theories. If you remember, the idea behind classical theories was that they presented a set of golden rules, which promised if you manage like this, then you will manage successfully. Contingency theories say that there aren't any golden rules. There is no single proper way of managing. If you ask someone, how should I manage? The appropriate reply is, well, it depends. It might depend, for example, on the people you're managing, the urgency of the task, and the resources you have available. Contingency theories means that style of management is contingent or dependent on the situation. You'll probably find some of these more interesting and more helpful than others. Again, that doesn't much matter, they're all mentioned in the syllabus. You have to be able to tie up the key words used in each theory with the author of that theory.